Google I/O made one thing clear: AI is moving beyond chat into everyday business workflows. For Compass Realtors,
Google I/O happened, and two major things emerged from the conference that are the most important. One, they've changed the way search functions forever. Two, they're putting AI in everything. So the second thing, putting AI in everything, is everything from YouTube to calendar to maps to sheets to docs to Gmail. All of it is getting AI agents injected into it, meaning they are trying to really utilize their ecosystem and move intelligence to execution. So you should see a lot of things happen where their target basically is to go from, you have a meeting on Google Meet and it does everything. So instead of just having a transcript and everyone knowing what they need to do, it will actually send the email to the lender. It will send the doc to the seller. The goal is, like I said, to move from intelligence to execution. The second thing they did was they have changed search forever. A lot of people think that the goal of ranking on Google is to get ranked first on the page. That is no longer the goal. That was the goal. With their generative search, I believe 70% of Google searches right now do not end with a click, meaning no one is looking at that and going to your website. They are looking at what Google recommends and they are pursuing that. So the goal really is no longer to be ranked at the top of Google. It's to understand what people are talking about and be a part of that conversation. So it's a little bit of a different ballgame with generative AI, but I've been talking about that for a little bit. So, and we will talk about that and kind of how to optimize for that as we go. That is what Google I/O is, and the two biggest reasons you should care about it.
Okay, so getting into what actually happened, this is the rundown. We're going to go over what Google changed, the near-term impact, the long-term impact, and what it means for you right now. So starting off, we have search and SEO. So this is changing forever. It's never going back. One thing that you can very clearly see is Google does not want to give the traffic back. So before, you would go to Google and you would try to get on page one. That was the goal of SEO. The new model is that Google's AI generates a response, and I believe it's somewhere in the 70th percentage points, but I think 70% of Google searches no longer end with a click, meaning the goal of a Google search is no longer to get Google to recommend your site so that it can be clicked. It's to get Google's agent to recommend you as the solution to whatever the customer is searching for. So that is the biggest step. It's more conversational. It's not based around keywords. It's definitely going to be a big change. And so if you've heard me speak on this, I've talked a couple times about things that you need to do to get AI agent ready. And just to kind of go over them again, one, it's get third-party cited, create some type of content, whether it's a video, blog, email, something that you can provide to third parties to get on their website. Try to do an interview, try to do something that gets you cited authority on someone else's domain. You want to make sure that your websites have good schema. So FAQ schema is really, really important. It's one of the most popular ones. So making sure that your data is clean, making sure that you're providing unique insights on the website, things that the AI wants to cite. So if you have niche expertise, putting some of it, not all of it probably, on the website for kind of your most asked questions. That's going to be massive for what comes next in discoverability, because like I said, SEO is changing. It's becoming more conversational, and the goal now is to get recommended by Google's agent and not get a click to your website. So they're different goals, and the way they're going to be accomplished is very different as well. Next up, we have Google Omni, which is their video generator. So this thing's pretty cool. It can do a lot for content creation. It's going to get better. So this is going to be one of those tools that can likely help with like AI avatar generation and stuff like that. In the near term, it does some cool things. Sometimes it does a good job doing AI walkthroughs of homes and kind of doing renderings in that way, but it's still very hit or miss, and definitely still figuring out prompts on this. But you can do listing teasers, neighborhood explainers are really good. You can kind of repurpose what you create in Omni into different layers on your socials as well. So, you know, if you have a podcast, you can use the opener there. You can use it if you do an Instagram content series, so on and so forth. And so this, I think, will get more valuable as it becomes able to render things with 100% realism. Right now, like I said, it does do some of that, but it's really hit or miss. So agents and everything, we talked about how they are putting agents in absolutely everything, especially in, you know, Google Workspace stuff, which is Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google Maps, YouTube, all that stuff is getting agentified, so to speak. So with all of that happening, that sets up for what comes next for Google, which are optimizing for real life workflows. So Google's intent is basically to go from meeting to completed, right? So when you have a meeting with your client, what Google would like to see is a transcript of that meeting get built out so that your client gets the action points that they need to do. You get the action points that you need to do. Emails get generated for people that need emails generated for. Communication gets sent out. Assets get built. Everything is designed to be generated using everyday workflows. And that is where the future is headed. So we're not quite there yet, but that is very clearly why they are rolling out all of this agentic stuff, to get a unified personal intelligence layer. And once that is fully kind of rolled out, it'll have context across all the apps to build kind of whatever you need. So I don't know how quickly that's coming, but with them rolling out agentic tools, that is, I think, the biggest why behind that, is so that they can start figuring out a way to automate end-to-end workflows, meaning from Google Meet to actual actions and work accomplished. Agentic commerce, I'm not sure how much this is going to impact you guys yet. I do know there are some things you can do to make it more useful. But right now, this is more designed, I think, for, you know, e-commerce stuff. So if you're selling like t-shirts or energy drinks, or even better than energy drinks, a focus and performance drink, shout out Metal. So I think it's more for like the lower ticket stuff. Eventually, I think this will get rolled out to higher ticket stuff like tractors and, you know, furniture, stuff like that, and then eventually houses. So this will impact things. I just don't know when or how much. And so the goal right now is just to prepare for it when it comes. And so again, it's using schema, it's getting cited by AI, it's having useful content, it's using AI potentially on your website to help sellers make informed decisions and do things that simplify the buying process and not muddy the waters, right? Because a lot of times AI can give you so much information that now you're more confused than when you started. And so I think a very useful skill for real estate agents is going to be helping their buyers understand, where AI has maybe made a mistake in its valuation, or where there needs to be more research done, things like that. More and more realtors have come up to me and said, my client brought me this thing, and they then proceeded to say, ChatGPT said, and then insert whatever crazy thing ChatGPT told them, right? And so you're going to be dealing with that more and more with clients. And so understanding, how it works to some level so that you can dispute it and say, Chat has a history of being problematic with that, and here's why. So that is just something that kind of goes along with agentic commerce. But make sure that you're building things like you can build right now landing pages for your listings without too terribly much effort, right? And so the biggest goal of all of this is to use the AI and all the changes that they're making that may or may not be impacting you, is to prepare for the idea that they likely will at some point if they are not right now. And then the final big thing is, like we talked about earlier, the reason Google is putting agents in absolutely everything is they are trying to take your workflows and have them be immediately done as part of your work processes, right? So going from meetings to execution or brainstorm to execution is going to be a faster process than ever, right? Because you'll be able to set communications, right? So you'll be able to say like, hey, I am going to build this project. These are the people that it needs to be communicated to. This is the change in strategy, blah, 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 blah. And so it'll be able to draft the email to who the email needs drafted to. It'll be able to change the company wiki or update the company Slack or do whatever it is that you do in your company to inform who needs to be informed. So it will take away the execution layer, the communication layer, and eventually it will make work more effective and easier to execute. So that is everything from Google I/O 2026. Up next, we'll get to prompts and actual demos of the things so that you can see some of the stuff for yourself.
This is the practical application portion of the presentation, I guess. And so the video that you saw at the beginning was created in Google Omni. And so I'm going to go over a couple workflows and a couple different things to do with the new tools, and also some things that would probably be adapted for search. And this document has all the sample prompts. These two things are actually all three of these are very, very good. These are prompting guides basically, and then that's a recap of what happened to Google I/O. And so this is kind of an update on search visibility. So it just kind of breaks down what it is, and then it gets into workflows. So what it uses, how it impacts realtors, and when to use it, and then the desired outcome from it. Right, and then it's a prompt. So this particular workflow uses Gemini Omni for the video creation. It's super simple. This is a very, very basic one. Now, the problem with this, the problem with this is that the houses and the interiors and stuff like that are not exactly where they need to be, and I'll show you what I mean as it relates to accuracy. I think it will get there, so I think learning this skill now is useful of how to kind of digitally create these videos. I think it's useful, but it's not quite there yet, and you'll see what I mean when we create the video. And so there's that. There's the virtual staging reality check, and so this is, you can use the image generation and then Google Omni, so you can transform the space and then use the video editor to make the space come alive. It gives it a little more pop as it relates to creatives. But again, the Google Omni, I believe, will be very good at doing this kind of stuff. Right now, it is much better at creative stuff where you don't need it to be 100% accurate. AI search and SEO visibility. So again, we've got the prompts there, and you guys can go through this, but there's 18 pages of different information and prompts and workflow setups and all kinds of stuff. So there's that. And then to actually get started, I created one for Marge Simpson of Red Blazer Realty, and we are just going to run through this really quick. So what you'll want to do on Google is get to Gemini, and I'm not 100% sure which subscription you guys have. I think it's the Pro subscription, so I think you'll have access to all of this except maybe the daily brief, but we'll go from here. So go to videos, and then all you're going to do is copy and paste the prompt. Now, when you guys do it, you have variables, so you'll need to fill these in, unless you've done a class with me and already have your context card filled out. If you have your context card filled out, you can just use that with these prompts to get better outputs already. So that is one benefit. And again, that's one of the benefits of the context cards. It allows you to move between all of these AI tools and really make a lot of impact without having to repeat yourself over and over and over again. So I do definitely recommend having a context card at minimum for yourself and your business. You may not need one for clients and deals and all the things that I have them for, but I highly, highly recommend you build one for yourself, so all of this information is super easy to be pushed into the prompt. So these prompts here may be a little bit different just because I do keep kind of improving and pushing them into a direction that I think is a little more useful. The Marge Simpson prompts are not that up to date. But yeah, so this is going to be the full workflow. I'm going to pause this video while I reread the prompt and make sure I have the requested images, because I think it's asking for images of the house that I missed. There you go. Uploaded images are the only source of truth. There we go. So upload those. And now it's going to kick over to the video generation, hopefully. Okay, so it's going to do this. I'm going to pause it because it can take some time. So I haven't watched the video yet, so we'll watch it together.
Check out this incredible new listing in Springfield. With Marge Simpson today.
That actually did a much better job. Okay, so apparently when I was doing it, it was my fault because the prompting wasn't good enough, but that did a pretty good job. Not exactly, right? Like you can see that that's not right, right? So it's not where it needs to be, but it is definitely getting better. There would be a couple usable things from this, but as a whole, the video is not great. So this is going to create the prompt to give to the video generator. So it's going to do research, it's going to validate. Okay, so I think this is probably going to be a better use case for this kind of stuff right now, but this is like a little promo video for a neighborhood. You could do it for kind of any element that you're looking for, like whether you want to do like the green space or like just general quality of the area, whatever it is. So this is the research prompt. So what you do is you take this and you give it to Google Gemini, and it's going to go ahead and identify facts and then create the prompt that you're going to give to the video generator. So we will see how that prompt turns out. I gave it here. It's completely made up, so we will see what happens.
Residents also have convenient access, yet non-veterans Boulevard.
Okay, so not great yet, but this is as bad as it's going to be, so hopefully they will be able to say Boulevard soon and complete their sentences. But this is, yeah, and that was the thinking level, so could have done extended thinking and probably made it a little bit better of a video, but not quite where it needs to be yet. Again, the best thing that I've found to use it for are like the creative stuff at the beginning of social media content, end cards for that kind of thing. And then getting to the next thing that we want to talk about, which is going to be using Google to really help with SEO. So SEO's changed forever. Google ain't giving the traffic back. It is not going to happen. So the goal now is no longer to be ranked number one on Google. The goal is to be a part of the conversation when Google is giving recommendations, right? Google has effectively changed their whole business model. And for a company that large, it's actually quite impressive. So what we'll do is we'll go back to new chat. And then this is an AI search visibility auditor for real estate websites supporting Marge Simpson of Red Blazer Realty. So I don't think this is going to go great. What the goal is this is to hopefully identify, are you doing the things that signal to AI that you are an authoritative presence that AI should cite, right? Like that's the goal is, are you someone that AI believes is reputable enough to cite? So if you're trying to gain visibility through SEO, through websites, through blogs, through stuff like that, I've talked a lot in my classes about the best ways to kind of create visibility for yourself, and we'll continue to do that for AI, but it's no longer your keywords and your website. It's very often other people's websites, what people are saying about you. Your total authority is now more important than a well-written blog, is I think the best way to put it, right? The intelligence layer is kind of unifying authority systems, and so that's something that just kind of happens naturally, and the goal is to be a known figure in whatever space you're serving. So that could be market style, so like short-term rental, flipping, investment property, single-family house, commercial. You could go down to neighborhood, Hendersonville, or city, like Hendersonville, Nashville, Belmead, like all that kind of stuff, right? And so this is kind of identifying where the gaps are. So you can see here there's no verified testimonials, there's no transaction history, there's no factual credentials to validate her expertise, which is a good... The fact that she got a 4 is honestly a little bit concerning, although she was... I think Marge Simpson was the top seller in an episode of The Simpsons for Red Blaze Realty. And so here are fixes, if you have website pages to create. But yeah, this is kind of going to help create that guide. Those are the biggest things from Google, the video generator. We didn't really do the photo generator, but it's pretty self-explanatory. And then we also have the way they're changing search. So you definitely want to make sure your schema is in a really good position. You want to make sure that you are, again, being someone who is an authority in whatever niche you can be a part of the conversation in. Right, so it's no longer page one, it's share of the conversation. You're looking to be a part of what AI is talking about. Last little tool that I want to go over is something that's probably my favorite thing, and that is NotebookLM. So, like you can see here, like there's the ability to load up your sources, and then what you can do is you can actually turn things into infographics. So this is the anatomy of a bulletproof AI task. And then this also, I think, is going to be a video.
But let's be honest, when the stakes are high, using them can feel a bit like.
So, I mean, it's kind of neat, but you can do this for just about anything. I've got my real estate stuff. I've done some stuff for realtors actually here, and so you can look up a parent's relocation guide, right? Like you can get super duper specific on these things, so your messaging can meet exactly who your client is, and that type of connection is what AI should be used for. Being able to build that is the best asset, in my opinion, the best kind of way to use AI for realtors, right? Like you get the information, you help them make a better decision based on the specific information that is important to them, right? And so if you can be the realtor that has more information that's important to them, and then you can also connect that information to their vision of the home through using these AI tools to, virtually stage and really give them a clear vision of kind of what the outcome is. I think that is going to be the highest use for AI tooling.